Hello and welcome, feudalists and feudalites. Today we're going to be talking about trade posts. This video is just going to show you how to work a trade post, so don't forget the default action to right click and interact with something. Just right click trade, and whenever you come to trade post, then you press your E or whatever action button it is, or left click, it opens it up. So the trade post, you have the stuff that you have in your inventory. This inventory is only seen and used by you. Other mates, either guildies or enemies, do not have access to this inventory. Everybody, if you have the premium, you have 1500 weight. Sometimes there's a bit of bug, so I recommend keeping a bit of gold, because sometimes the decent paid overweight dimension sometimes gets bugged and gets reduced to the old number of 150 or something like that. So leave some money there in case something gets stolen, and they will return it to you in the next in-game day. You can see a couple of buttons here, so it's the same sorting mechanisms as the normal bags. You just have to press once. I do recommend the sort by item type, then the star, which sorts by quality. So let's see, my arrows on the right are 82, these arrows are 62. So from left to right, it's always going to be lower quality on the left, higher quality on the right. This is the star, and by item type just sorts everything kind of together. Don't forget the bellows. It's pretty much like a normal inventory. We've talked about this before. I definitely recommend using that in all types of inventories. Right now I'm carrying some iron back and forth, so I do not have the anything on my bag besides my primitive's knife, believer's knife. So the buttons we have here, so this ones you can pretty much ignore. This is, you can increase your capacity in this button. You can transfer coins into your trade post. This is like useful if you want to take money out. So for example, you see there I have 1 gold, 11 silver, and 35 silver and 35 bronze, copper. And you can take the gold away by shifting this to your bag. So this is your inventory. This is a trade post inventory. So if I take 1 gold out, you can see here I have the 1 gold in my bag. If I transfer coins and I put it back there, it's gonna be, the gold is gonna move into the trade post inventory, my own. So it's not like I'm charging the trade post. The trade post is not an outpost anymore. So this transfer coin, back in the day, it would be problematic with transfer coin and pay for trade post or pay for outpost or whatever option it was. But now that it's not an outpost, so like now you can build a trade post right in the middle of your base, for example. You basically don't have that option, so the bug doesn't happen anymore. The other 2 buttons you have here is the market and trade logs. The trade logs, I'd like to use the dashboard, but you can check all the last things you sold. So for example, I was killing some gnolls at some recent point in the past, and this shows me all the items that I've sold and how much they sold for. So you can make the math with regards to, so this is the total price that's here on the right. You can increase this window a bit. Some of them you can increase, some of them you cannot. But you can see here that I sold the crown charm for 135. This means it was 1 silver and 35 copper. So the numbers, it's always from copper to silver to gold, it's always like 100 of the previous one. So like 100 copper is 1 silver, 100 silver is 1 gold. So like when you see this total or the value cost, it's the same thing as the coins in store here. It's always like the gold, the silver, and the copper. So any number after this, it's going to be, before this, it's going to be the gold. So if I had 100,000, that means that would be, in this case, 100 gold. So yeah, that's pretty much how the currency kind of works in the game. A lot of things, other things to worry about here, and the thing that you do to trade is the market. So the market is where you come to trade with people. The way that the market works, so you can see the gold there, how much inventory weight of space I have here. Now this is a little bit bugged. You can see some of the gold you have in other places. You can also click on the trade post. Trade posts far away, but one of the biggest changes they did since the game kind of relaunched, and especially in CBT, is that you cannot sell stuff globally. I mean, you can sell and buy, but you have to go pick it up. So one of the things you want to worry about when you're doing trading is that you have to go pick it up. So you have to contact the people on that guild, or if you're in the green zone, the person in the green zone, to see if their trade post is available or not, because some outposts, like this trade post, is impossible for us to do trade with, because like you need permissions to get into the base to trade anything here, and that's a nice way to do it, but it does get a bit of problematic when you're trying to to buy stuff off the market. So for example, if I want to see what we're selling here, nothing. So when you press this button on the left hand side, this is the global search, and if I take it off, it shows what we're selling here, and we basically don't sell anything because, you know, nobody would be able to buy it per se. So if you see the global search, this the global search, this is what everybody's selling all over the place. You can see here Gorland. I don't know where this trade post is, but it's far away. It's 23 kilometers. I can try to buy it, but the thing is, like, this will deliver. This will never deliver to the current trade post. What is going to happen? It's going to be delivered there. So I buy it for this price. So like right now it has 2. So this is the plus 2 units. This is the 35 star is the quality of the item. This is the durability. Apple sprouts in this case, they don't have the durability here, but they don't have the durability themselves. But what's basically going to happen is always going to be delivered there. So even if you pay the tax fee, this tax fee probably should be removed since you cannot deliver to current trade posts. It always goes to the same one, so you can tick this off and just buy it. But you have to go there and pick it up. So if you want to buy this 235 quality apple sprouts, the cost per item is here on the right hand side, and the total price, imagine it's 10, that would be 2 silver instead of the 40 copper. But you basically just buy them and they'll be delivered there. So like I'll just make this transaction, why not? And so I'm gonna spend 40 copper to buy it, and what's gonna happen is gonna give you a little announcement here, purchasing item, and it went through. But my problem is now I have the apple sprouts on the place that I need to go pick it up. So, you know, the problem, it says here time out transaction problems, but you actually could see that it disappeared here from the list, and that's delivered on my trade post somewhere out there. Right now I guess it's this one. So if I go to this trade post and I click here new sell order, no, I cannot sell from here at the moment because they don't allow it, but in dashboard you can select the different trade posts themselves here on the left hand side, or in the dashboard itself. I'm gonna show you a little bit of that, but basically you can go to those trade posts and sell like the apple sprouts back. So I can go there and put the new sell order. So this is the sell orders. This is when you basically want to buy something. So sell orders from other people that you can buy. The buy orders are stuff that people want to buy themselves from you. So imagine there is here this gentleman wants somebody to go get some earrings from the trade post Arden, and this person wants 1 to 100 qualities. So this is a buy order in a sense. So like it doesn't care if it's 1 or 100, it just wants 100 earrings. One of the things I do recommend when you're gonna make buy orders and sell orders is that depending on what you're doing, you might want to use partial purchase. So one of the things this gentleman didn't do is potentially didn't make partial. So this 100, you have to have exactly 100 in a stack. So if I wanted to sell, let's say my arrows, so for example, like the stack of arrows would be 27. So like this stack of arrows here, I would have to sell like a stack exactly of 27 to fulfill that order, or 18 stones, for example, let's say. This can be a little bit problematic when trying to fulfill some of the orders. So for example, like partial purchases would allow you to buy some of them. So in the sell orders, for example, this gentleman, it has no in Mercado, this trade post is selling some adrenaline preps, but you have to buy as like a whole bulk of them. If you have a lot of items, let's say here something with a lot of items. So this brimstone here, I have to buy it in bulk. Nobody's going to spend 1 gold to buy it in bulk, but this person, I guess, just wants to offset it in a sense, you know. But people have to go pick it up, and then we're talking about picking up 10,000 brimstone from somewhere. Let's see here, plant fiber. Nope, all of this is bulk. Nobody's been partially selling anything. So for example, this person, this nail, so Spark Convenience store open 24/7. You can actually see here that you have the quantities. So imagine you want 100 of this. What you basically do is select, put the number, or use the up and down button, and then you can buy different amounts for different prices. So let's see, 200 by 15 copper, that will be the 30 silver that we have here. Then I'll have to move myself to the spar and buy the stuff that I want to do. In the green zone, I'm guessing most of people are not walling their trade posts, but I have no idea, I don't go there often. But in the red zone, the problem is you really need to have an understanding with the mates. So like if they have the trade post on the outside, that maybe you can get access to the gates just to trade with the mates. Like maybe some of them, those would be accommodating, some of them won't. But you know, that's how relationships and diplomacy will kick in, and that's gonna be fun. The reason why they did to do trade posts is because it was really easy to send materials to war. So if you wanted to go fob an enemy, and basically in one night we build a trade post, and in one night we would have everything we wanted there. We could set thousands and thousands and thousands of weight to build stone walls, castle walls, all of that stuff in like no time, and this is why they kind of did this. So I do understand where it came from, but for the smaller trades, it's a little bit tricky, and people are still adjusting on the diplomatic side of things. It also gives a lot of opportunities for people to counter gank or gank people that are setting up some fobs, because people have to bring cards and they're going to be slow. They need protection for those cards when they're setting up warfronts, and this is one of the bigger reasons they did, and this is how it's affecting the game. But I believe over time the diplomatic route will take over, and like we'll have people of potentially trade posts outside of like the center part core of your base, and you'll have friends that will have access to it, and whenever you want to sell something, just put it there and they come and buy it or trade it. But most of the transactions till now, especially the great weight ones like full bags or full cards, have been pretty much working on person-to-person basis and trading via Discord rather than necessarily the trade post. But it's still a useful tool, and we'll see with time how that works out. So the buy orders, let's see if there is somebody with a partial purchase of a buy order here. I guess would have to have something to fulfill it. So let's see. I'm guessing nobody's buying stones. Stone. Nope, nobody's buying stones. That is a little bit problematic, but we're going to show you how to set up a seller for that in a bit. But this you basically can fill, like, imagine like you feel like you have 1,000 cabbage just sitting around and you want 3 gold. You can basically sell it from your trade post and send it there, and the mates will pick it up. Partial purchase, for example, you can see here, partial purchase is allowed. So this you could fill with 100 cabbages, and you'd get like 30 silver instead of 3 gold. So that's the way that buy orders kind of work. My offers is basically if you have something to sell, which we're going to set up in a second, you're going to see my offers right here. So let's set up something to sell. So let's see here. Market. I split it off the stones in one, so I can sell just one stone. So new sell order. Basically, I have to control zoom out. So like right now it's the problem of the scrolls. Apparently somebody told me earlier today that you can use some shenanigans to just the up and down button, and you can select the stuff you want to buy and sell. That kind of works a bit. But no, I just realized that I have too much stuff in my trade post right now to sell what I want to sell. So what you can do, like if you were using trade post just to trade, what you can do is like empty the trade post of the stuff you don't want to trade and put it somewhere safe, for example, or hold it in your bag, basically. And then what you do later is just basically, so right now we should have enough space. Let's see if we can see it there. It's a little bit of a zoom out, I'm sorry for that, but that's a problem with scrolling because you cannot scroll. It scrolls the back page, it doesn't scroll the front one. So what you want to see is the one stone. So the one stone is there. I'm going to zoom back in after I selected it. And when you're trying to sell something, so this stone is 41 quality, one stone, and because it's only one, it's not going to multiply the price. The price I put it is going to be the price it gets. So let's say I'm going to sell it for 15 silver. So this stone is worth 15 silver. There is a tax commission. This commission is usually paid for the owner of the provinces and stuff like that, or taken to the crown. I'm not even sure of that algorithms work right now. And you have the partial purchase allowed here. So imagine I have 2 stones. I could allow people to buy each of the stones for 15 silver each. You don't pay anything when you put something in the market. You just pay it later on the commission when it's bought. So I'm going to put this for sale, for example. So right now my stone is in sale. I can come here and see the stone is selling for 15 silver. Nobody's going to buy it. But I can also come to sell orders. If you do sell orders and go to global search, it never shows yours. So like it only shows from the other people in the guild or they have access to this trade post to actually sell, but it doesn't show yours. So to see yours, you have to go to my offers. Okay, besides that, so let's look at the search bar. So you can go here and see if somebody's selling, sorry, let me activate global search, stones. And like obviously this is not really specific, but because you have brimstone, you have the null stones, you have limestone, you have lungstone preparation, you have stone cutter's outfit, but and you cannot see your own stones here, but somebody is selling stones. So there's a gentleman here, for example, selling stones. If I was specific with the search with the search keyword, it is specific itself. So like if I write stones, the correct word itself, it will show you here as stones. And there is somebody selling 141 of them by 48 quality, totaling 1 silver and 41 copper at trade post 30. Some of the trade posts are named, some of the trade posts are unnamed. Sometimes when you don't have the trade posts named, what you can do is you can go to your minimap. So if you activate your minimap, you can actually use the search bar there, and let's see, trade post 20. I wrote trade post 20, and like right now it will show me all the trade posts in the map. If everybody knows what trade post 20 is, they know why I searched for this one. But there is trade post 200, there is trade post 202. These are names given by the game when trade posts are created. Then you can change it later. So any trade post that is named like that will keep that original number unless the people change it. So this trade post 20 is where we have the null city. We're going to make some videos about that later on. We're going to let the rest of some of the mates figure out how to do it before we teach them, but no spoilers. Let's see, spar. So remember earlier we were buying from that place called Spar. I'm guessing this is the green zone one. Yes. So you can see here, this is the place that I bought the stuff at, those two apple sprouts. My only problem is that I cannot move materials. So the green zone and red zone are separate. So there is no material coming back and forth from the green zone. So if I want it now, and I would have to go there and resell it to somebody else, but then I'll have to plant the apples trees in this age region because I cannot cross with them. So there is no way for me to go get those sprouts and go plant them here in the red zone if I wanted to. But you can look, so you can look for the name of trade posts right up here on the left hand side. You have the search toggle thingy option. If you want to just check what trade posts are around you and to see if the materials are there, you can also press the trade post thingy over here on the left. And if you press the trade post, this shows you like this little scales. It shows you all the trade posts on the map, so you can want to see some friendly trade posts around. Okay, trade post 210, trade post 407. So you can look for those numbers, and these numbers of the trade posts are what you're going to be seeing here when you go to the market. These are the trade post numbers that you see here on the left hand side. You can sort it by trade post itself and then look for the one you're looking for alphabetically or counter alphabetically, and you know, this will work out for you over time. You can set up like, okay, I'm trying to buy something from 998. Check if the trade post next to you, reach out to the guild to ask if you can get permissions to buy and sell stuff there, and just set up, start doing your trades. If you're not looking for trade posts in specific, but you are looking, for example, for materials, you can use the category filter here on the left. So let's say we're looking for jewelry, so like this 998 is selling some jewelry. You can select exactly which type of jewelry, so let's put here silver rings, and we can compare all the prices of if these silver rings are worth it or not. So let's see, here, silver rings. So right now I clicked in category silver rings. You can see here that if I scroll up, the 998 silver rings are still there for the same price and stuff, but it also shows you the competitors. So Freibier, I'm sure they're not giving Freibier away, or Jeddah City Market, and then a couple of other rituals trade posts are selling a lot of these silver rings. You can compare your prices, compare qualities. So this bar here will show you the name, the quantities, the qualities, the durability. So if you're buying, for example, this silver ring from trade post 000, this is not full durability. Sometimes this is important. One of the problems right now is that you cannot see the age of the horse you're buying, for example. So like you can buy a really old horse thinking you have like a gigantic quality one, but that's going to be bad. Or same thing with the ring. You're buying a ring, but the ring is broken. So you always want to be checking durability and stuff. The features would usually have to do with the region. We're going to talk about that in a second. Besides that, you have the price of the whole order itself, depending on how many there are. For example, silver rings, you have to sell them one by one. You cannot sell a stack of silver rings. So the price is going to be the same as the price per unit. And then you have the price per unit, and then you have the trade post itself. This filter is really useful. Imagine you're looking... sometimes I wish you could like be a toggle function rather than like just a click one, but imagine you're on my composite bows. So right now in the whole map there's only two people selling composite bows, 77 and 86 quality, both max durability, and then the prices fluctuate. So this is where you want to, you know, leave your mark. If you have an open trade post and you're trying to be a great trader without interpersonal trades, you want to compete with these prices. Usually at this point you would have hundreds of composite bows being sold, but because of the way that everybody's still like step-toeing on the trade posts themselves and like learning how to do that with the new mechanics, it's going to take a bit of a while for people to adjust. But yeah, this filter is really useful in many situations. Sometimes not so much. Sometimes you just want to type and get what you need. Another button that you have here is on the left hand side. You have the filter selection. So for example, right now we have a 77 and an 86 composite bow. Imagine right now that I would want like only above 80 quality. So I would come here and select 80 quality, 80 to 100. You have to set up the max one first, sorry, my bad. 80 to 100. So in this case it will remove that 77 bow, I think it was 77, and just show me the 86. So we can select this little cogwheel on the right hand side. You can select quality types, you can select quantities, you can select prices. So imagine I want this bow for 20 silver, so let's say 2000. Right now, I put 2 gold, let's put 2 to 2000. So if I put 2 copper to 2000 to gold, it will show me that one. But imagine like, oh, I'm only willing to pay 30. Imagine I only want to pay 30 silver. As soon as that jet clicks in, it's right now it's that one apparently is not working too well. Let me see, price. Oh, because it's using this function. So if I take that one and I want to buy it from 2. Okay, apparently that function is not working too well. Let's see. Okay, so within that value is working nicely. Let's see, 20. So I want a bow that goes from 2 to... Oh, well, apparently the price function is not working too nicely because that one should have excluded this bow per se. So this bow, for example, I usually don't sort by prices a lot, to be honest, but I just check the lowest by price or price per unit. But this bow should have been excluded from this search. So this is a little, looking at you, Boko. This is like a little price thingy that this needed to be optimized, because right now we're selecting price between 2 silver and 20 silver, and it should show me the 77 one regardless of the quality, and it should remove this one because this one is 40 silver, so it's above the limitations we put here, but that's a little separate thingy. So we're going to move the search thingy here. We can also search within the categories. That function also works. Let's say we want some original linen rope. Imagine you're making some building kits and you want some original linen rope. So right now we have all the linen rope showing. So the other fixture is what I'm going to talk about now. As you can see, when you scroll down, you have this Steinrodden rope there. Imagine you're from the region of Steinrodden. What you can do is press this cogwheel on the right hand side, and you have all of the... I scrolled too much. You have all of the regions on your right hand side. So like, let's see, linen rope from Steinrodden. So if I click Steinrodden, that's the one we spotted there. So right now there is no more rope being sold, simple rope, linen rope, sorry, being sold from any other region. So if you wanted to buy, you have to put up with this price. So Trade Post 19 is going to be one of the central ones in the Null City. But somebody's selling that there. I'm guessing they give some news for it, and then you have to have the money on the place and then go pick it up. So like, for example, Trade Post 19 and 20, because they're in the Null City, straight here in the middle of the server, they are open, but you know, they might have to fight your way in or out of that because of the people doing the null camps and killing each other and all that stuff. So Trade Post 19 and 20 are really good for trades, and like potentially a couple of the surrounding ones around the map are also going to be good for trades. Those are going to get, you know, the renown, and people are going to be doing a lot of trading there and picking up and dropping there. But there also might be people getting ganked and all that stuff, so keep your eyes peeled and stay safe. But yeah, this function also helps you sort a lot of originality. The same thing works with, for example, let's see, right now we're going to remove this, let it rope out. All goods. So when you want to reset that filter, you go to all goods, but imagine you want hardwood boards. So hardwood boards from Steinrodden. You can leave this original thing clicked on, toggled, and you basically come here, and what you see is like the hardwood boards that are being sold on from those regions. You can realize this is not 109 and 156. It's not the 1920, so this might be closed again. But yeah, this is how you buy like the stuff from the regions, and you can see here the feature is pretty much for the regionality of the items. Whenever you're trying to do some higher crafting or high building and stuff like that, and yeah. One other thing we didn't mention was how to set up a buy order, so let's go oversee that quite quick. So when you want to set up a buy order, you can select any of the materials, so it's like that filter down left. Let's say we want to buy a slave. So you want to buy a slave, you come here, you select the quantity of slaves you want to buy, so let's say 10 slaves. Quality, let's say I want 80 quality because I want my slaves to be productive, and then you say I'm going to pay 1 copper. Now obviously nobody's going to accept this one because, you know, 1 to 1 copper, nobody's going to be selling a slave for that. And you can select max delivery price, but right now this doesn't matter unless people choose not to put delivery price there. But basically you're paying for the distance that somebody's buying it from you, but because you have to pick it up, most people just toggle it off and not pay the delivery price because it cannot be delivered. I could also put partial purchase here, like we did with the sell orders. This means that people could sell me a slave by at a time, so somebody grabs a slave and drops it in their trade post and sells it to me, and that's kind of how it works. I also could decide, so for example, if some regional slaves don't exist, but theoretically I could choose the region of the materials I want from. These buy orders were a little bit bugged before. I hope they're working nicely, but I've not tested the regionality on delivery items as of yet. This will then give you a calculation. So like I said, 10 slaves for 1 copper, it's going to say minimum and max amount for those slaves price to be. Obviously, if I put the delivery fee here, so imagine I put 20 silver because somebody could be selling the slaves from really far away. This would be the cost that they might have to pay for delivering each slave, but right now this doesn't matter. I believe everybody that is paying like knows how to toggle the delivery fee because there is no delivery being done. So yeah, and then we'll just press create, and then it would go to my orders here. So after you see my orders, I know I didn't press create, but like you just can remove it. So imagine you messed up and made a poor price. I was like, oh, I'm not going to sell this for this price, or this is too cheap or something. Just come to my offers and click remove. It will give you a little notification, or it should. There we go, transaction successful. So now we have removed that and it's refreshing the market data, and my offers are crown again. The only thing we have not talked about a trade post is the sell to crown. And the sell to crown is another type of interaction. So imagine I want to sell my hatchet to the crown. So my hatchet is a quality 11 hatchet. I think we stole it from somebody potentially, or something bad happened because we haven't crafted this type of hatchets in a long time. Maybe somebody's leveling forging. You can sell to the crown itself. Most of the stuff that we sell to the null crown is the null stuff. So like we showed at the beginning of the video, the trade logs. That's like you just come here, select you take all of the items you don't want to sell, and then you select all of them one by one. Somebody mentioned also that that you can use the mouse button, and like some people zoom out, some people the arrows, some people do a lot of stuff. I usually just zoom out and click everything and then sell to the crown. You can see here it doesn't show you what materials and what qualities you're selling anymore, only for the first item. So if you want to sell one by one, be careful. So like my hatchet of 60 quality will sell for 9 copper. It's not a lot, but there are some items that you realize they're going to make a lot of money. I'm not going to go into details which items those are, because those are quite valuable for the mates doing it. But yeah, you figure out what items you have that you can craft easily and sell by a lot. But you can see the quality does affect it. We potentially have a null video incoming soon with all the items we sold on the CBT. We did a study with all of the types of null items, and maybe that video is popping up soon. I've already promised that one before, but the analysis is pretty much done, but I just have to sit down for many hours to go through it and explain it all. But basically, yes, the quality always affects the value of the item. So for example, this is a quality 12 hatchet for 4 copper. A quality 60 hatchet sells for 9. In this case, so you can see that 4 becomes 9, and if you have a even higher quality one, it will go up. So quality will matter, the rarity of the item will matter, but basically this is how you sell to the crown. So null stuff, imagine this is a null hatchet. I'll just come here, sell to crown, sell all items to crown. For some people works, especially if you select the same types of items and then sell all. But for some people, they have different kinds of problems selling to crown. But if you have any, drop it on the comments and we'll try to sort it out or help you out with it. But yeah, this is pretty much it for trade post stuff. So any questions, anything you have, drop them below and I'll try to get them. It has been a pleasure. Don't forget, drop a like and a sub if you can. See you next time. X out.